Hey besties, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're here for the first time, then welcome. But if you're here for a second, third, fourth, or fifth time, then hello, welcome back, and I love you. If you know me, then you know I have a small business, Fresco, and November, December, and just the holiday season in general is just a crazy time for me. So I've been super busy, but I told myself I was gonna sit down and film this video today because this has just been on my to-do list for a while. I'm really excited about this video. We're gonna do half of our face with my favorite high-end makeup and then half with the affordable dupes. I'm a big believer that makeup should not be so expensive, but when I find a high-end product that I genuinely love, even if it's so pricey, I'm gonna buy it. But there's always a dupe for it, and I'm gonna show you how you can achieve literally the exact same look with way less. So if you want to see how to get a beautiful face of makeup with affordable dupes, then keep watching. All right, we're going to start off by doing the brows. And the first product that I'm going to show you that is high-end is the Anastasia Beverly Hill Clear Brow Gel. I've had this for the longest time, and I used it for the longest time. But it never held my brows up quite right. And I actually don't even want to use it because I'm just not a fan of it anymore. But just to show you, I mean, it does the job, it combs them out really well, but it doesn't quite do the job of holding them up, especially all day like I would like it to. This used to be one of my favorite products, and I'm not quite sure why because I feel like it never achieved the job that I wanted it to. But honestly, I just always thought my brows were just way too stubborn for any product. Until I met the Got2b Glued for Brows and Edges Gel. If you know me, then you know I've always actually used this one. This is the spiking glue. This is supposed to be for your hair, but I use it for my brows and it worked wonderfully. It held up my brows literally all day. And then they came out with this Brow and Edges Gel, and it's a different formula. It's more clear than this one, but this just does the job. Like, it does exactly what I need it to do. It's a clear formula, so it doesn't leave any residue behind, but it definitely holds the brows up all day long. My stubborn brows literally have met their match. Okay, that was probably the least exciting part. I'm glad to get it over with. Let's do primer. For the expensive side, we're gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, and I only have the mini size because this stuff is expensive. Okay, we're gonna put that all over our skin here, a little bit right here. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and blend that out with a damp beauty sponge. And this just adds like an extra glow to the base of your makeup. I will say this brings out my texture a little bit, so I'm not the biggest fan of using it every time. In fact, I like to use it on top of my makeup, if anything. But I know this is meant as a primer, so I'm just gonna use it as it's supposed to be used. And now for the other side, we're gonna use the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. This literally went viral because it was known to be a dupe. And after using it, I think I'm gonna have to agree. It still brings that glow for your base that you want. I will say though, this also does bring out my texture a little bit, so I also don't reach for it too often. But it is quite literally the exact same thing. Like, you can still see this like stunning glow underneath. Okay, so for the foundation, for the high end, we're gonna use this NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. I'm not sure if that actually counts as high end, but it definitely is pricey, so I'm gonna count it as high end for sure. And I just got this contraption on Amazon. Look at this. And you pump your foundation on that so you don't get the back of your hands dirty. That is amazing. I'm just gonna do my foundation how I always do it, which is just like a couple dots here, and then I spread it out with my finger. I just feel like this makes it blend in so much easier. And now I'm gonna use a brush to blend this out. Look at that. That is a stunning foundation. And now for its dupe, we're gonna use the L'Oreal Paris True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. That is a mouthful, but this foundation or serum is literally the exact same thing, and it achieves basically exactly what the NARS one does, which is a skin-like finish, very glowy, basically like undetectable to the skin. I've seen a couple people talk about this serum as being one of their favorites, but honestly, I don't think I've seen enough people talk about it. Like, it is just so pretty. Also, keep in mind, I have this lamp right here in front of me, so if one side of my face looks a little different, that's probably why. Okay, but look at that. Very identical finish. We're gonna move on to concealer. For my favorite concealer, we're gonna use the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Sculpting Concealer. You guys know this is my favorite favorite go-to concealer. It never fails me. It's the only one I can truly grab every time, and I know it's just never going to fail me. I'm gonna go ahead and apply the drugstore concealer just to give both of them time to set into my skin. And for the drugstore one, I'm gonna go for the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I've seen this one get a bit of hate, but honestly, I feel like it does the job if you know how to use it right. The shades are not quite identical, but they're the closest we could get. So, and as you can see, I have used this bad boy for a while. Honestly, this used to be my favorite concealer before I found this one. And I'm gonna go ahead and use my Sephora 71 brush, and we're gonna go ahead and blend this out. I'm gonna do my best to keep it like half and half, but I feel like this is a little hard. This is the best brush for concealer that I have ever purchased and tried out. It just seriously melts the concealer into every like pore in your skin. So we're gonna go ahead and blend this side out first. Okay, and now that that's blended out, we're gonna go ahead and do the other side. I'm also making sure to clean my brush up before I start blending out the other concealer. Okay, I'm pretty much done, and I seriously think that these two look pretty identical in my opinion. The only difference I'd say is that the e.l.f. concealer is a little bit more dry than this one. You can see the difference right here, especially like the Too Faced one. It doesn't really crease into my nose, but this one does because it's like way drier. So if you want an affordable option for this one, then I'd say this one is the way to go. But honestly, it still doesn't beat this one. This one is just unmatched. Moving on to another dupe, we're gonna do contour, and I'm gonna do the Charlotte Tilbury contour wand. I love this contour wand. It has been one of my favorites since the first time I ever tried it out. And we're just gonna use this brush to blend it in. I feel like that is the prettiest contour. I also think it just looks so natural, and it's like the perfect undertones between gray and also kind of warm. Okay, I only blended out this one side here. Now for the dupe, I'm actually super excited for this dupe. I think it is one of the best dupes I have ever seen. And it is the Milani Liquid Contour. The tube is way smaller though, which makes me kind of sad because I think it's gonna run out way quicker. I'm gonna use the same method, just dots here. The shade is a little bit different, but I still think we can work with it quite well. And now we're gonna blend it out. But this honestly blends out even better than the Charlotte Tilbury one. It just blends in. I think it blends in. It just blends in so much better. Look at that.
I don't know what they put in this, but it is so good.
Okay, they look a little bit different, but if you saw me just face to face, you would not be able to tell a difference. They both look so good. We're gonna go ahead and set our under eyes. I'm just making sure that there are no creases under these eyes right now. Just cleaning that up a little bit more. For the high-end side, we're gonna use my favorite powder of all time, and that is the Laura Mercier Translucent Powder. This has literally been my favorite setting powder since the beginning of time. I only ever lightly bake, so I'm not like super baked, but this sets my makeup all day long. I'm gonna use a different powder puff, and for the other side, I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. This is so identical. These are so identical. And they don't only look identical, but when you put them on the face, they're pretty much the same thing. The only difference I'd say is that the Halo one is a lot like the powder is finer, which might even be a good thing for some people. I'm gonna let that sit there for a little bit, and in the meanwhile, I'm gonna go in with bronzer. For the high-end side, I'm using the Makeup by Mario Skin Perfector. I know this isn't technically bronzer, but Mario himself uses it as bronzer. So I just go in with the big brush, literally just put this all over. This is a stunning bronzer. It leaves your skin so glowy and adds a warmth that it looks like I've been sunbathing in the sun for days. Okay, it really is one of the prettiest bronzers, but if you want something identical, I'm telling you, this is quite literally the exact same thing. Just look at this. They are so identical. I almost couldn't believe it when I first tried it on. I was like, this product reminds me of something that I already have and have been using. And when I figured it out and I swatched it, yep, very identical. I'm actually gonna swatch it just to show you. So this is the Makeup by Mario one, and this is the Butter Bronzer. Of course, the color is not very identical, but the sheer and like the glowiness of it, very identical. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off this powder. Alrighty, for the eye look, I'm gonna take the bronzers that I used and I'm just gonna put it all over my lid for like a monochromatic look. And I'm just gonna put the Makeup by Mario one all over my lid here. It just looks so effortlessly put together. So I either take my blush or the bronzer I used and just put it all over my lid. And now on the other side, I'm using the butter bronzer. Very, very identical. I don't think you could be able to tell a difference. Maybe in person, but I don't think so, to be honest. Now for the eyeliner, I'm so excited for this one. We're gonna go in on the high-end side, and I say high-end very loosely because this might not be considered high-end, but it's the Rare Beauty black liner. The reason it might not be considered high-end is because it's not that expensive, but I consider anything that's not drugstore and more than 20 bucks high-end. So we're gonna use the Rare Beauty one on this side. Look at these wing skills. I still got it. Lately, I have not done any like winged liner. I just have no motivation to do this, much less like every day. And now we're gonna use Wet n Wild Mega Liner for this side. This has been a favorite since high school as well. The brush is just a little bit thicker, but we make it work. Okay, I think that's as identical as I'm gonna be able to get these wings.
It's not about the shape of the wings, okay? It's about the actual formula here.
They're both matte. They're both like not streaky. They're not too glossy. In fact, let's just test it out. So the top line is the Rare Beauty one, and then the Wet n Wild one is right underneath. Okay, when I rub it, oh. Okay, the Wet n Wild one came off a little easier. Maybe I didn't give it enough time to dry. I don't know. We're not, this is a theory for another day. Moving on to blush. We're gonna do the Rare Beauty liquid blush, of course, on the high-end side. I have used this blush so many times and it has never done me dirty. It always blends out so easily. It's super pigmented and it lasts me all day, which is my biggest pet peeve when blush just starts to fade away. Now for the dupe, we're gonna use the Makeup Revolution Blush Balm. This is not the exact same shade, but again, we're not focusing too much on shade because I don't have dupes for every single shade. But the formula and the pigmentation on this is so identical. Okay, look at that. Guys, these are very identical. Okay, this dupe, another dupe I'm so excited for. You guys know, I love this Dior blush. I love it. We're gonna use it. And grab a fair amount, even though it's so expensive. I hate grabbing this blush because I don't even want to use it. And I'm just gonna spread it right here. I have a dupe that I genuinely don't see anybody talking about. This brand actually sent me this blush and it's Kaleidos. I think it's pronounced Kaleidos. Look at that. Now, I'm gonna show you side by side. You cannot tell me there's even a difference. They are so similar. Okay. This is definitely a dupe, for sure. And what's crazy is I never see anybody talking about this. Like I see a lot of Dior blush dupes, but I never see anybody talking about this. To be fair, I never talked about it either. That's probably because I didn't really know about it. But now that I know about it, don't say I didn't put y'all on. I put y'all on. All right, y'all, final stretch. I am gonna rehydrate my skin just because I feel like the powder is kind of drying me down a little too much. And I'm gonna use my Small Business Rose Water Facial Mist, of course. And then I like to go in with my beauty blender and just press it into my skin. Look at that, it just brings that glow back. It just brings the glow right back into my skin. Okay, for mascara, for the high-end side, I'm gonna use this Lancome mascara. I'm gonna go ahead and use my favorite curling lash thing. Okay, and that is one coat only. And now we're gonna curl the other side. And on this side, we're gonna use the Essence Lash Princess Mascara. Very similar wand in my opinion. And we're gonna do just one coat as well. Okay, done. And I think the difference speaks for itself. You can see the difference. This is a drugstore mascara, and this is the high end. And that is why you should never ever overpay for a mascara. I am gonna add just another coat of this one just to kind of even out the lashes because I feel like this looks a little crazy. Now for highlight, I'm gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury Easy Highlighter Wand. I'm just gonna take some with my finger here and just dab it into place where I want those highlight peaks to be, and trying to keep it on just like the left side of my nose here, a little bit right under the brow. I love putting highlight right here. Also on my chin right here. And now for the dupe. Guess who came for Charlotte Tilbury again? If you guessed Milani, then you were correct. I'm telling you guys, Milani is coming for Charlotte Tilbury. Same method here, using a different finger. Just gonna dab it on my finger, just on the right side, on my chin as well. Under the brow here are the highlights, not identical. You could not tell me which side is which. Okay, guys, we are finished. What do we think? I feel like you cannot tell the difference. I feel like you can tell a difference a little bit in the highlight. This one's more like silver cool tone, and this one's more like warm gold color. I also feel like you can tell the difference in mascaras. I feel like this one's more lifted and this one's a little bit like softer. The brows, I think, give it away. I think the brows truly give it away. You can definitely not tell the difference in the winged liner. I think I achieved the same look. The only thing I will say is if you look really closely, you can see the e.l.f. concealer starting to set in there. And the Born This Way concealer is pretty much intact. So you can definitely tell a difference concealer-wise. I think in terms of foundation, everything looks pretty much the same, and this is a huge price difference, y'all. This is a huge, this side and this side, huge price difference. I think this video just proves that makeup is not about the tools. You don't need expensive equipment, brushes, expensive makeup. All you need is to know the skills. They say that about painters, I think. It's not about the tools, it's about the painter, something like that. But I think this pretty much proved it, because my makeup looks pretty much the same on both sides, and there was a huge price difference. So you do not need expensive makeup or expensive tools to achieve a beautiful look. You just need to learn the skills. And I actually do have a tutorial up on how I do my everyday makeup, and I show you all my tips, tricks, kind of the same vibe for how I achieved this look today. So if you want to check that out, definitely check it out, because again, you don't need expensive makeup. You just need to learn the skills and the tips and the tricks. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe, like, and leave me a comment. I try to reply to all the comments all the time. And let's stay connected on my social media, because I just love hearing from you guys all the time. Seriously. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I love you. Bye. Just look at me.
All right.
Okay, which side is the high end and which side is drugstore? But back up. You're too close.
Okay.
Like, pretend you're just looking at me from afar. Can you tell?
It's kind of hard. No, let me see. It's because the light. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. I got it. Let me look at you though.
Which side is the drugstore?
The left is the high end. Like this side right here.
Uh-huh.
And the right is
Are you
drugstore.
sure?
I mean, that's what I'm gonna say.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I guess, yes. That's my final answer.
You're wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Nah, you're joking.
No, you're joking.
I wasn't joking.